Right, so welcome in today. We have Bobbi, an amazing founder from Mentor Walks, and I wanted to sit down and talk with Bobbi today so that you guys could get a better understanding of who she is and about the Mentor Walks as a business, as a charity. So I'll hand you over to Bobbi. So if you could please, you know, a bit of background on yourself, Bobbi, and introduce Mentor Walks, that would be amazing.
Thanks, Sully. I am an entrepreneur and a philanthropist, a board member, all sorts of things. And Mentor Walks came about because Adina Jacobs, who's the co-founder, and I are alumni of Ernst & Young's Entrepreneurial Winning Women program. It's a program where each year they select 15 women who are running businesses of some size to help them scale globally. And she and I were at a conference in Shanghai, and a woman there called Michelle Garneau, who introduced fine dining to China, she's originally a Melbourne girl, years ago, told us about Mentor Walks. And she'd been running it with Chambers of Commerce 3 or 4 times a year in Shanghai and Beijing. And we happened to be there at a day she was running a walk. We hopped in a rickety old cab early in the morning, went to the park in the middle of Shanghai, which I couldn't find to this day if I wanted to. And I went with one group, Adina went with the other. And in that 1 hour, when I walked with 3 other women, 2 of them were women that were useful to me in my decision whether I took my business into China or not. And so it gave me access to people with experience I would have otherwise found very difficult to find. And when we got to the gate of the park at the end of the walk, Adina, who'd been with a different group, and I looked at each other and said, "This is such a simple, impactful idea. Let's take it to Australia." And we did. So that was now almost 5 years ago. We launched it in Sydney in October 2016. Now 4,500 women later, 8 cities later, it is a national program that's purpose is to make mentoring accessible to women everywhere, to help them get clarity and to help them build their networks. What we find is that for lots of us, there are conversations that we would like to have to help us get clarity or answer any question it is about our careers, that we don't necessarily have the people in our workplaces to have those conversations with, or, you know, it's simply not the right place for them. So it's important to give women the opportunity to have a place where they can safely talk about anything related to their working lives. And it's also understanding that our careers these days are no longer a ladder, they're a lattice. And so bringing diverse thinking to the way we approach our working lives, to me, is vitally, vitally important. So Mentor Walks has a cohort of about 340 senior women from all sorts of diverse backgrounds who are all there to help other women succeed. And the way the model works is that at a Mentor Works event, whether it's in person or virtual, and I'll talk a bit more about that, women apply to come on our website. It's only $30 to come on a walk, so that's about making it accessible. We ask them what the question is they want to discuss. It can be anything at all. And, you know, one of the things we find is that someone's big issue is someone else's small issue. It doesn't matter what it is. If it's an issue to you, it's important. And we will match you with the mentor group that we think you'll have the most productive conversation. So say, for example, if you're in a corporate and your issue is about balancing work-family issues, we will put you with someone whose background has been in corporates and who's had to balance those issues. So these senior women are helping you from their own lived experience. And the other thing is you'll be in a group with up to 3 other mentees, and you're helping each other with each other's questions. And so what you find during 1 hour is that you not only get help with your own issues, but you find that you can contribute to the questions other people have too. So lots of great things are coming out of the program. For example, we're finding mentees are continuing to are forming friendships where they're continuing to meet and help each other. An example of that was in one of the groups that I mentored. A woman was trained at NIDA and she specialised in helping executives learn to present. Another woman in the group was a chief financial officer and finance manager, and she was struggling to present to her ELT, and the woman who was teaching people to present was starting her own company, and so they kept meeting to help each other. So they bartered their skills.
Amazing.
And that sort of thing is happening all the time. So that's basically how Mentor Walks works and what we're here to do, which is to help women get the clarity they need to succeed.
And like you said, do you know what? I think in life, do you know, you meet some of the most intelligent people like yourself, or you hear someone like Simon Sinek speak, and some of the ideas and business ideas are the most simplistic things, but it takes the most intelligent person to come up with the most simple idea. And I honestly think Mental Walks has such this like high impact with such a small thing, which is literally let's go for a walk and talk.
Yep.
You know, how can I help you? Like you. And actually, even if you don't have the charity like Mental Walks, you know, people will do it. But the thing with society these days, people don't reach out and ask for help. Like it's just not human nature for more often majority of people to do that. So I love it that we in partnership to you're channeling a safe place for people to feel comfortable to discuss, you know, what a wide range of little to large kind of like problems that they have in life or work. I just think it's such an impactful charity that you've established. It's amazing.
Thank you so much. And look, there's one other aspect is for our mentors who for anyone that goes to the site will see what an extraordinary group of women they are. All of them are really busy. And so for them to devote an hour of their time or an hour and a half of their time a few times a year is a really effective way for them to contribute. And it's also a way, if they don't have time to help people and all of them want to, they can just say to people, go to Mental Walks. You may not get me, but you'll get someone of equal experience and ability.
Yeah. So what's next then? So Mental Walks done amazing things since you established it. So what's the plan for the next year to 3 years? Where do you want to take it? What's next on the agenda?
Yeah. Our goal is to support 25,000 women in the next 5 years. By the end of this year, we will have the funding in place to be in every capital city in Australia. That means we've only got Adelaide and Darwin to go. We've just got Adelaide over the line, so we will be launching in Adelaide soon. And then next year, our focus is firmly on taking the program to regional Australia. There are so many incredible women in the regions, and COVID has just accelerated that. And the internet, of course, has been a game changer for businesses to be able to establish themselves firmly in the regions. And women in regional areas are isolated, and they have limited access to help. They have limited access to each other. And so by bringing the program to regional Australia, we will be able to not only help women in the regions, but build connections between the regions and the cities, which is good for everybody. So we're actively looking for partners to work with who are as committed to our agenda about opening up the regions and building those links as we are. We've already launched in Armidale and Dubbo, and they're like pilots. They're petri dishes for us if you like to learn about the regions, and we've learned a lot. We've done that with the support of the Minister for Women in New South Wales, Bronnie Taylor, and the learnings have been substantial, and we now know that we've got a great template and how to build it out for the regions. We're also continuing with our virtual walk. So with COVID, obviously in lockdowns you can't walk. And we were able to convert the program to virtual with absolute ease. We use Zoom breakout groups, and so you don't get the benefit of walking, and you know that's where it's at its best. You still get the benefit of meeting people and the great advice that you get, and it's working beautifully. So we still run virtual walks regardless of whether in lockdown or not, 6 times a year. And we're also running a conversation series, which is every month one of our mentors is presenting on an area of interest to mentees. It could be identifying your strengths. We've got one coming up about being visible on social media and how you build your social brand. We've had ones on understanding money and the budgets, how to prepare for job interviews, all kinds of things. So they're free webinars that we're running monthly that you can access through our website.
Cool. So, and you mentioned there around finding other partners, funding partners. What does that look like then? So if you could, concise with that, because that's something that obviously potentially people in our network might be interested in helping you with that.
Yeah, we want to grow the program, and we do that by taking it to new locations and expanding the reach. And we work with organisations who are committed to a diversity inclusion agenda, who want the women in their organisations and even their customers to attend mentor walks, but also have senior women in their organisation that could benefit from being part of our mentor network. And our partners are very varied, and we have numerous partners in each location at different levels. To give you an example, Coles recently joined us as a partner for Melbourne and our virtual walks. ANU is our partner in Canberra. Fortescue Metals Group is one of our partners in Perth. So they're very diverse, but all organisations very committed to gender equality.
Yeah, well, actually, a mining company with a female CEO, Fortescue. There's not many female CEOs in mining. She's a powerful woman, right?
Yes.
To take over from Twiggy as well. So is there any cities then in particular that you're looking to expand your mentors? And if so, what's the type of mentor that you would be looking for in that particular place?
Yeah, the mentors come through our mentor networks. We generally, as a guideline, need them recommended from other mentors in our network to bring on board.
Yeah.
And we have, I think, when we launch in Adelaide, we will be reaching out to our networks there to look for very senior women in Adelaide who bring something different to the conversation, and ultimately in Darwin as well. Brisbane, we've got an incredible cohort, but that is growing, and we're open to people there. But all our other cities, we've pretty much got what we need for now.
So is there a type of criteria or experience, or, if you were looking for, a bit of a left field mentor to come to any of those cities that you need them, is there something in particular that you would love to add to the addition?
Look, I think the answer is not specifically. To be a mentor in our program, you need to have many years of experience. You need to have experience having mentored, because we all know the key to being a great mentor is to be able to listen and to be able to ask good questions. I think really what we're looking for is diverse experience. And that diversity includes sectors. So women from science backgrounds are really welcome. We need more of them.
Yeah.
We're really open. We always have women who have got questions about starting new businesses, starting new product lines, how to accelerate your career and accelerate your family at the same time, how to get a role on a board, all kinds of things. So, Scully, there's not one particular, really, it's about the mix.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, exactly right. So, so what's the next event then? What's the next most exciting event, or the ones that people should look forward to?
Well, we've got events running all the time in all our locations. So that's in Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane, Canberra, Perth, Hobart, and Wollongong. And Armidale. So if you're in any of those locations, please sign up and come to a walk. As I mentioned, we have virtual walks running every 2 months. You can sign up to any of those at any time. And when the cities are in lockdown, those walks continue. They just happen on Zoom.
Yeah, cool. And so a bit of advice from yourself then to our female network. What would be some of the 2-3 bits of best advice that you could give them, or even that you've been given yourself in your career?
Some of the best of pieces of advice, certainly one of the best pieces of advice I've been given, is to define your own metrics of success. And I think for women, often the metrics of success are ones that the conventional wisdom is ones that tend to come from I think a pretty male-dominated world, which are you see your success based on what revenue your business generates, or how many employees you have, or how fast you're growing, and they're all great, but sometimes your own metrics of success might be how many people am I helping? Can I have a lifestyle that's the right lifestyle for me and the people I care about the most at this particular time? How much money am I making rather than how much revenue am I making? And the two are very different.
Yeah.
So I think developing your own metrics for success and at different points in your life is really important, and it takes courage to do that, and look at what the mainstream does and then actually work out what's important to you. Other pieces of advice, I think sometimes it's important to slow down to go faster. What I see in a lot of particularly women in the first parts of their career is that they think they have to do everything at enormous speed. And I'd say slow down, right? I'd say that sometimes it's really important to look at what you're getting at that time, and also having an open mind about what you've yet to learn. And sometimes to learn those things, you need to go slower to learn them. And that might sound funny, but
So true.
I think it really, often you see people changing jobs every year or every year and a half or whatever. And sometimes there's great reasons for doing that, as long as you're looking at what you have yet to learn and working out where's the best place to get that.
And that ties to your first point, right? And you define your metric, because I think obviously being in the world of recruitment where people are constantly looking to change jobs, like sometimes I really do, that when you ask them why, they really can't articulate it to you. And sometimes you get, that the horrible bosses and feel undervalued and paid, but actually, some people just don't know, and it's because they haven't defined their own metric of success.
Yeah.
And they are rushing their career. It's like you're like 30 years old, or even a 40-year-old person, you've got another 20 years ahead of you, another 30 years. Like, take your time to become a master of what you do and architect your future. And sometimes you can't get where you want by just jumping from A to B. You've got to go to like A1, A2, A3. It's a long road ahead of you. So there's amazing bits of advice.
Great. And there's more if you want them, but
I'll take more. If you've got one more for us, I'll take it.
Oh, what would be another one? I'd say that I think that all people look at other people and think, especially people that are established or successful, and they feel intimidated by them. But the thing I'd say is that people are people. And even the people who look the most resolved go through periods where they're unsure or are working their way through to clarification. And actually, to get clarity, you have to start at a place that's slightly messy, right? And so what I'd say to people is just understand about all people that being unclear or messy is just part of the process of getting to clarity. And with mentor walks, we encourage people to come when they're unclear, because that's exactly what mentor walks does. It helps you get to clarity. And you don't have to be clear before you come. What we're there to do is help you get the clarity. So
it's like being comfortable to be vulnerable, right? Because I think that's the human nature, is if you basically talk about what you're scared about, or that vulnerability of that you actually putting your hand up and say, I'm lost. They feel that's actually it's actually worse to actually say that. But actually, once you've actually come out and talked and asked for that help and be vulnerable, like, you actually get way more clarity, right? That you all of a sudden get this support network around you, and you'll get clear goals and actions like instantly.
that's right.
Oh, amazing. Right, cool. There's a last one then for personally for me, actually, because I don't think many people know that you've got an Order of Australia. So I've actually never interviewed, and I've never met someone. So I'm actually feel privileged to actually spend some time with you today. For someone who's got an Order of Australia, which is obviously well deserved. So congrats on that. But then, who's your role model then? So who's who's your female role model in life or business that you've looked up to or aspired to be?
Yeah, I have a lifelong mentor. Her name is Barbara Kale. She also, like me, has a publishing business or started a publishing business. My business is now much more than publishing, but she has a similar background to me. But she is the founder of Chief Executive Women, and she's also a great friend in my life. But she's a very, very original thinker, and someone who's been successful in business, but also successful in developing organisations that have made a real difference to helping other women, and particularly addressing the gender equality issue. And gender equality is the thing that I'm most passionate in life. Women hold up half the sky. They deserve, they deserve equal opportunities.
Well, you create the sky. You women would create it. So,
and I think Barbara is someone with enormous integrity, who has brought great good to the world and thought very differently and been very original in what she's created. And for me, she's that person. It's highly unusual to have a lifelong mentor, and I would encourage people listening to this to have multiple mentors in their life. I certainly do and have. That's another piece of advice. You don't just need one mentor, you need mentors for different issues at different stages. But I've been fortunate that she has been my lifelong mentor, and she's someone who I very much look up to.
It is very fortunate. And look, so we'll leave it there for today. I would hope we get some more snippets from you over the coming weeks, months, years. But from the bottom of my heart, I'm actually privileged that you're willing to join us today, and I'm privileged that we can say that we're, a supporter, I don't know, a partner or someone who's going to be supporting your journey of getting to achieve your goal of supporting 25,000 women. I'm a massive advocate of what you've achieved and what you're going to achieve, and hopefully myself and Talenza can be a part of making that a great success. So thank you again for today. And I'll speak to you soon.
Thank you.